All right, and we are live. What's up, guys? How's it going? And welcome to this exclusive VIP broadcast of a Daily Dose with Daisha webinar. Super psyched to be here with you guys. So, in today's video, I'm going to be showing you the 5 millionaire success habits that I actually personally learned at a Dean Graziosi event that I went to last week. But I also want to show you guys a concept that I created last week. And I'm sure people have kind of explained the same concept in different ways, but this is what made the best sense to me. And it explains why 97% of people usually quit, right? There's so many people out there right now that will quit right before they're about to succeed. And I want to show you guys a concept that explains exactly why we all do that. So here in just a moment, I'm going to just break down the 5 millionaire success habits with you guys. So before we do so, you should already have a pen and paper. What I want you to do is on your pen and paper, I want you to write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes, just like that, right? Kind of like a checklist. I want you to write that down, and then below that or on the next page, go ahead and just leave some space so you can write down some notes for each individual habit. All right? Ready to get going? Let's do it. All right. So for the first millionaire success habit, this one I talk about actually quite a bit, right? Like a lot, I feel like. And the reason why is because it's super, super important. This is what determines how you're going to map out your plan for your future. So the first millionaire success habit is have a clear vision. Have a clear vision. Now I'm going to be giving you guys an exercise here in just a moment to kind of help you guys have that clear vision, but also stay clear on that vision, because I know that can be kind of difficult sometimes, right? So have a clear vision. So the big thing with this, guys, is being very specific with your vision. This is one of the big things is people will say that they have a vision for their life and want to make a bunch of money, have a nice house, have some kids with a wife, and have all these great things in life, right? But they're never actually specific as to what they want. They say that they want this big house, but what do you want the house to look like, right? You can never plan what it is that you want for your future without having a clear vision of what you want, right? It's kind of like being a Ferrari and going as fast as you possibly can, but not having a destination in mind, so you're not getting anywhere, right? So another thing here, guys, if you guys are watching the live, make sure to drop a hashtag live below. I'm not able to see who's jumping on these videos, but I am able to see the comments when you guys are dropping them below. So that's the first one, guys. Have a clear vision, right? Have a clear vision. So the exercise that I want to give you guys here is pretty simple, right? Oh, and before I do this here, I wanted to kind of give you guys the definition of vision. I looked up the definition of vision right before we jumped on this webinar. And the reason why I like to look up definitions is because a lot of people have a lot of different opinions about certain subjects, right? But we all kind of look things up on Google. So I wanted to explain this one to you guys. So vision. Vision is the ability to think about or plan the future with imagination or wisdom. I'm going to say that again. The ability to think about or plan the future with imagination or wisdom. So when I read this, I was like, holy crap. Does this mean that there's no really right or wrong way as to mapping out our future, right? There's no right or wrong way to mapping out our future, right? Really, all we need to do is figure out what we want and keep a very clear vision of that inside of our head, a very clear picture of that inside of our heads. So if you want a really, really nice car, right, no matter how many people are doubting you, if you want a really, really nice car, what kind of car do you want? What color, right? What would it feel like to be driving that? Keep that image inside of your head. Same thing with wanting a big house, right? Like how many stories would that house be? What would the floor plan be for that house, right? Like what is it for you? Be very, very specific what it is for your vision. So the exercise. So every single morning and every single night before you go to bed, right? As soon as you wake up and before you go to bed, you want to get out a pen and a piece of paper and write down or reread what you've written down in the past of what your vision is in every aspect of your life, right? So health, wealth, relationships, and spiritual, right? What do you want your health to look like for the future, right? Maybe you're a little bit overweight right now. You're wanting to lose some weight, eat better, feel better, have more energy, right? What does that look like to you? What would it look like to be that person already, right? For your health, your wealth, how much money do you want to make, right? If you want to be able to travel around and do all these crazy big things, right? With all of this great money, what would it look like for you? What kind of relationships do you want to have? Do you want to have a husband, a wife, right? Like what would they look like? What kind of things would you guys be both interested in, right? And the last thing is spiritual. Where do you want your spirituality to be in the future, right? What would it look like right now if you had exactly what it is that you wanted? So that's pretty much it, right? That's the first one, is having a clear vision. So the second habit here, I'm going to jump just straight into the second habit, is being accountable. Be accountable. So this one's pretty fun. Travell, live, loving it. What's up, brother? Hope you are doing awesome. Thanks for jumping on. Appreciate you so much. So being accountable. Here's the thing, guys. With being accountable, there's so many people out there right now that just want to blame. All right, they want to take all of the struggles that they have going on inside of their life and blame someone else for it happening to them, right? Or blame someone else for them not succeeding. So here's what I did. Looked up another definition, right? So the definition of accountability, it refers to an obligation or willingness to accept responsibility for one's actions. When individuals are accountable, they understand and accept consequences of their actions for the areas in which they assume responsibility. So here's the thing, guys. Like I said, a lot of people want to blame others for what's going on inside of their life. And there are a lot of like outside sources that can make the options that we have available inside of our life more appealing, right? But here's the thing. Every single decision that we make, right? Every single decision you make and every decision I make is up to ourselves, right? Every decision that we make was made by us. We cannot blame someone else for us making a decision, right? We are the ultimate decision factor. We are the ones taking action and making that step or making that leap or making that decision, right? That is up to us. We have to be accountable for our own actions. If we're just blaming other people 24/7, what's going to happen is you're just going to waste time and you're going to waste energy stressing and being frustrated about all the craziness inside of the world. They're going to just waste time, right? So why don't we just save ourselves some time, save ourselves some energy, and take responsibility for our own actions, and then just make some money, right? I don't have time to be blaming other people for my own mistakes, right? I don't have time to waste. Instead, I'm going to use that time to do some action steps that can actually make me some money, right? Or actually make me happy, right? I'm over stressing about all the blame. So my challenge for you guys today is throughout your entire day, when you feel frustrated, angry, upset, whatever, right? Instead of being frustrated and saying, oh, it's that customer's fault, or it's my mother's fault that I'm upset, or my brother's fault that I'm upset, take responsibility for you feeling in that way and start to change it, right? The only person that can make change in your life is you. So be accountable, guys. I can't stress that enough. Be accountable. Just waste time when you don't, right? So that's the second thing. Third thing, the third millionaire success habit. And you guys have probably heard about this one in my video if you did watch it. So I'm going to write over here, write down clear vision. Every day and night. Sorry, guys, I don't have good handwriting. Be accountable and then learn from others who are already succeeding. Especially when you're trying to write really, really fast. Okay, perfect. So learn from those who are already achieving at a higher level. Now, like I said, you guys have probably already heard me talk about this specific subject, but I wanted to touch on it just a little bit here because a lot of people will ask me this question, right? They're like, if you decided to start a side hustle or a job, right? You know that you have to have something that's going to be able to support your family, right? You know that if you're going to succeed, you're going to have to put in the work. Your success depends on how much work you're putting in, right? How good at your job that you're doing, right? So if you were to have two options from learning from people, right? One person has had 30 years of experience and has gone through every single hurdle, every single struggle, and has taught so many different students to make a bunch of money online, right? And be super successful, quit their jobs, make 6 figures a year, whatever it is, right? There's this guy that has 30 years of experience. Would you rather learn from him Or would you rather learn from a brand new newbie who has no experience, no passion, and the only thing that they are focused on is the money, right? Who would you rather learn from? It's a simple answer, right? You would rather learn from the person that has 30 years of experience. Why? Because they've already achieved things at a higher level, right? So you're going to be able to get the best training possible because this person over here has already gone through all the hurdles, gone through all the struggles. You're able to skip that learning curve when you learn from people that are achieving at a higher level, right? There's a huge difference between those two people. So that's pretty much it for habit number 3. I don't want to spend too much time on that one. The biggest thing about this one, guys, is just don't try to reinvent the wheel, right? Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Just find someone that is already achieving at a higher level, right? And just follow what they are doing. Be coachable. That's one of the biggest things that was told to me when I first got into millionaire mentoring last year, and I did the complete opposite, right? I wasn't coachable, and I ended up losing out on thousands of dollars, guys. Thousands of dollars. It's freaking crazy to think about. So just be coachable. That's the biggest thing. And the last thing is to take action. So that's it for habit number 3. I don't want to spend too much time on that one. So habit number 4. I say this all the time. I don't know if I can stress this one enough. When I started hearing him name off the success habits and naming off this one specifically, get a mentor, I was super, not really surprised, but it made so much sense. And it made me want to talk about this even more. So find a mentor. You hear it from super successful people all the time. The one thing that I get asked all the time is, Daisha, how do you find a mentor, right? How do you find a mentor? So here's the easiest way to find a mentor, because over the past about 5 years, I struggled, guys. I mean, I struggled for about 4.5 years straight until I found a mentor. And I had tried different programs, right? I would get into different programs. I would try to learn from a whole bunch of different people and be as coachable as I possibly could, but I would never get the results that they were promising to me because they weren't being genuine, right? So finding a genuine mentor is super important. The way to do this is to find someone that you idolize, right? So find someone that's already super successful and succeeding like quite a bit, right? I know when I found my mentor, I seen that he was a 22-year-old kid that made $23,000 in a 30-day period. I was like, holy crap. Like, I want to be making $23,000 in a 30-day period. I'm 23. You're a year younger than me. You can make as much as some people make in an entire year. Like, it blew my mind, right? I wanted to learn from him. So what I did is I reached out to him and I was like, hey, like, what are you doing and how can I make the same amount of money that you're doing? And guess what? He was like, well, I'm in a mentoring program. Why don't you just come learn under me? And I was like, holy crap, okay, right? So I got into the mentoring program. He showed me how to make money, and now I'm able to do $1,000 commissions, right? And so much more because of being able to learn those transferable skill sets, right? So the quickest way for you to find a mentor is to find someone you idolize, reach out to them if possible, right? Reach out to them if possible and be like, hey, can you train me? I want to be able to get the same results that you are getting, right? And if they are not able to mentor you themselves, right? Like maybe it's someone super high up there like Tony Robbins or Gary Vee or Dan Locke or something, and it would cost you like $5,000 an hour just to learn from them. Learn from someone that has already learned from them, right? So for instance, my mentor learned from my millionaire mentor. I still learn the strategies from that millionaire mentor, but my personal mentor, right? He's not the one that created the program. He was just coachable, got results, and he learned from them. So now I want to learn from him, right? So you don't have to learn directly from the person you idolize, but you do want to be in that line of action, right? You want to be in that line of action. So that's the big thing, guys. So that's the second thing, is just be coachable. Angie says, hey there, Daisha, tuning in, hashtag live from New York. How awesome. Appreciate you jumping on. Travell said earlier, hashtag live. Loving it. All right, guys, awesome. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you so much. So that's number 4, is find a mentor. And the last and final one is be humble, right? Be humble. And you hear this one quite a bit, but I kind of want to crush some, can't think of the word that I'm looking for, but I want to crush some disbeliefs, right? Or misbeliefs of being humble. Because a lot of people think that you being humble means that you're weak, right? It means that you're lower than everyone else when you're humble. And that's just not the case at all. Being humble doesn't mean that you should think low of yourself. Really what that means is believing, right, that no one out there is better than you, but you are not better than everyone else, right? It's finding that balance in between so that you can have a peace of mind. The thing is that people get so wrapped up in the fame and all of their fans and their followers and all this crazy nonsense and the emotions of the world nowadays, right? That they lose track of where they came from and what truly matters inside of their life. So the easiest way for you to be humble, right? And I'll give you guys an exercise for this. The easiest way for you to be humble is to have gratitude, right? When you are feeling gratitude, you can't feel any type of negative emotion at the same time, right? So you can't feel cocky and gratitude at the same time. It just doesn't happen, right? You can be like, I'm so grateful for things, but you can't be like, yeah, I'm a boss at the same time, right? It just doesn't happen that way. So feeling gratitude is the easiest way to stay humble. So one thing that I always recommend for people to do is find 2 to 3 times throughout your day for you to just sit and be straight in the moment and only in that moment of you being grateful. So for instance, let's say you wake up, right? I always recommend 3 times a day, but if people can't do 3, I always recommend at least 2. So wake up and write down 3 things you're grateful for. 3 things you're grateful for. Awesome. Then before bed, do the same thing. Write down 3 things that you're grateful for. Right now, if you can do it more than twice a day, it's going to help you a lot more. I always recommend like morning, at like lunchtime, set a timer to like be grateful right before lunch or right after lunch, and then right before bed. Because then you're kind of 3 sections throughout the day and you're keeping that feeling of gratitude. Because it can drop off for a while, right? I mean, if you're super, super grateful when you wake up in the morning and you're not really thinking about the things you were grateful for throughout the day, and then bad things start happening, the boss gets angry at you or you get stuck at a train or whatever, right? It can be kind of hard to hold on to that feeling for that huge period of time throughout your entire day. So being grateful as much as you can possibly be is going to help you stay humble. It's going to help you not get wrapped up in all the fame and the money and the craziness of the world and make you realize where did you come from and what is truly important to you. What are your values, right? It really, really helps you connect with that. So guys, that's it, right? That's the 5 millionaire success habits. Now it's time to show you guys the concept that I created last week called staying in the circle. This is a fun one, guys. I like this one a lot. All right, let me find my eraser. Here we go. All right, so hopefully you guys got this down. If not, no worries. I am going to have the replay being sent out. As long as you registered for the webinar, if you're watching the live right now, you registered for the webinar, you'll get an email with the replay right after this. So no worries there. Man, this does not want to erase. All right, guys. So this concept of staying in the circle, like I said, it's been explained, I believe, in different ways. It just didn't fully grasp in my own mind when I heard it in different ways. So I wanted to show you guys the way that I did it because I'm all about simplicity, right? I'm all about simplicity. The simpler that we can make things, the easier that it is for me to understand and for others to understand as well. So I got a question for you guys. Are you getting value so far? Are you? Yes? Let me know in the comments below. I like to know the feedback from you guys, right? We are all not perfect. So being able to know that feedback so we can all improve on a daily basis is super important. All right, that's good enough. So with the staying in the circle concept. So here's how it goes. Here's how it goes. So here's us right here, right? Here's us. And usually we'll get this great idea going on inside of our head, right? Maybe it's to start a new business. We want to write a book. We want to build up this new Facebook group so we can provide value for people, whatever it is, right? Whatever great idea that we start getting inside of our head to help other people. What happens is that idea starts growing. And then we start reaching out to other people that are probably in the same type of industry to get their opinion on how they can make this thing happen. Right? So if you're wanting to start a business, usually what happens is you start creating this circle, right? You start creating this circle filled with people that are in business, right? Maybe you're wanting to get into mentoring. So you talk to this mentor over here and you talk to this mentor over here. And eventually you start creating this kind of circle of influence, right? You might talk to someone over here that's in a different business, read a couple articles about how great this business would be if you actually started it and all the benefits that you could get. Right? So you start creating this big circle of influence, which is awesome, right? Because you have all these different people that you can talk to. Then you end up starting the company, right? And you're super stoked about it. You start learning from all these crazy people. And then what happens? It's like a switch, right? Like instantly. What happens is that instead of staying in our circle of influence, We decide that we're going to go outside of that circle. We decide that we're going to go outside of our circle and go to this circle. We're so excited. We're about to reach our breakthrough moment. We've already done all the training. They're saying that we're going to be able to make a bunch of money, make like $1,000 days. It's going to be awesome. But what happens is they step outside of their circle of influence and they start asking people that have no association with their circle, right? They have no association with their circle. So they step out and they start getting super excited and be like, oh my God, Mom, guess what? I want to be able to make a bunch of money, right? I just got into this program. I know all these different people that have made a bunch of money, and I'm going to make millions and be able to take care of you and retire you, Mom. It's going to be great, right? You're super stoked about it. You want your family to be stoked with you. But what happens instead? Most of the time, what happens is your family doesn't support you on it, right? And the reason why is because they don't have experience. They don't have experience with what's going on. It's new, right? That's the whole reason that you're getting into it, is because it's new. It's something that a lot of people aren't doing. And that's the reason why you want to get into it. So telling your mom all this stuff, she ain't going to understand, right? She's going to be like, honey, this is a bad idea, right? Bad idea. You're going to waste a bunch of money. You're going to get scammed. You're going to have all these horrible things happening to you. Why would you want to do that? So then you kind of take a step back and you're like, I was listening to all these people, but what if they're wrong? I'm going to go ask someone else instead. So instead of them going back into their circle of influence, they step outside their circle again and ask someone else. They ask their best friend, Joe. All right, let's call him Joe. Gratitude is key. Great point, Day. Awesome. Angeline says, always be humble. Angeline says, great topic. Awesome. Love you guys. So what happens is he steps out and he asks Joe over here. Joe, you're my best friend. I've loved you forever. You've been amazing to me. I want to show you this amazing opportunity that I just got into. We're able to get all this different training. Our millionaire mentors help us out. They jump on live calls with us one-on-one. It's amazing. You got to get into it. You're excited, right? You want to share it with your friend Joe. But what happens? Joe is also not in your circle of influence. He has no idea what's been going on within your mind of your circle of influence, all these different people talking about these things. He has no experience with it, right? So what's going to happen? He's going to say, Daisha, this is a bad idea, right? I love you. This is a bad idea. Why would you want to do this? You're going to get scammed, right? I've heard my best friend Bob over here. He got scammed a bunch of times from something like this as well. It's not real, dude. You don't want to do this. And they start going on the internet and reading all these different articles about all of these bad reviews, right? Did you know that people get paid to write bad reviews? Kind of crazy. They read all these different articles and watch all these different videos and people saying that this crazy big idea that we created, a super amazing thing, is a scam, right? So what happens is instead of us coming back into our circle of influence, we step outside even further, right? We step outside even further. So now we've asked all of our outside circle of influence, the people that are close to us. So then we start going online and asking people on Facebook. And then what happens is that we get further and further away from the vision right here. And then we come back around and then we start something new. And it just keeps going in this vicious cycle over and over again, right? But we never come back to the same idea. And this is why so many people quit, right? They get into the circle of influence. They get close to the fire, like my mentor always says, right? Get close to the fire, about to reach their breakthrough moment. But instead of staying in that circle of influence and learning and growing, they step outside of it, right? They get the wrong information because they don't know anything about the company or anything about your specific subject or goal or whatever that you're starting, right? So then you step outside even further. And then you end up starting a brand new idea, right? And then the same thing happens. You get super, super excited about all these things and you step outside the circle and then you get further and further until eventually you end up starting something new. And this is why so many people quit. It's because they don't know how to stay in their circle. Guys, you may have heard me do the video. I think it was last week? May have been a few days. I can't even remember. But it was saying how you should allow your success be the noise, right? Work in silence and let your success be the noise. And I really, really loved that idea because over the past 5 years, every single time that I would reach out to a friend or family member, I would always get shot down. Almost every single time because I didn't have results yet. It's crazy that the people that are closest to you want to see the results the quickest, right? I found that I will reach out to someone I've never even met before, never even talked to before. And I'm like, dude, this thing is amazing, right? And they're like, holy crap, I think this is amazing too, right? I have way more people reject me that are close to me than people that are not close to me. Unless you have a lot of results, a lot of friends and family members aren't going to like the idea because it's new, right? They're scared. A lot of people are scared of failing nowadays, and I understand, right? I was the same way. That's why I quit and then started something new, quit and started something new for 4 years straight. So that's pretty much it, guys. That is the whole concept that I created. Thank you so much for coming to this Millionaire Success Habits webinar. If you did click the link that was just sent to your email, you're probably on a page with 3 buttons right below. One will say 1K days with the mentoring. One will say, I think, my cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, stacking Bitcoin, right? And then the other one will be 4 funnels. People always ask me right after these webinars, Daisha, what the heck is it that you do online? So one thing that I found is you can't just stick to one source of income, right? Like, do not keep all of your eggs in one basket. So I started venturing out into 3 different sources of income right now. So you'll be able to click on each one of those buttons. It'll take you over to the information that explains the exact millionaire mentoring program I got into last year. Helps me make $1,000 days, right? Pretty cool. It also shows you how to stack Bitcoin. If you click on the orange one, that's where my friend Civi, his amazing partners down in Africa, they created this amazing education platform that teaches you what Bitcoin is and how you can start trading with it. And it's just amazing, right? I mean, education about Bitcoin, you're able to stack Bitcoin along the way, no matter what the price of Bitcoin is right at this exact moment, right? And then the blue button will take you over to the One Funnel Away challenge. Guys, I personally took this 30-day challenge and it completely changed everything, right? If you're on this page right now, you're probably seeing a funnel that I built with ClickFunnels with the One Funnel Away challenge. So guys, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any interest in that, click the buttons below. Reach out to me on Messenger. If you guys want to reach out to me personally, you can click the message me button below. It'll take you to my Facebook, quick message, and that's the best way to get a hold of me. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you again for joining me on this Daily Dose with Daisha webinar. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.